Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew.
Welcome to Mordor's Pit Fighting Championships. I'm your host Dantix, and it's been a while since we've been able to visit the pits as our film crew came down with a sudden case of back on the menu. We've since trained a new crew, covered them in moldy maggot bread and set them loose. When we last left you, Tuka the Pretender had just become regional champion and nothing has changed since. He's still undefeated, but that didn't stop today's combatants from hacking through waves after waves of Uruk to claim Tuka's title for their own. So let's take a look at the Uruk and Olroks that made it to the semi-finals. First up is Ratak Tasty, a fan favorite. He was crushed in the pits by Tuka during the finals last year, but death just didn't taste good enough for Ratak. He's back, ready to cover the competition in barbecue sauce and devour all that stands between him and his vengeance on the Pretender. He'll be fighting Urlisak the Noble in round 1. Although this is Urlisak's first year in the pits, he has plenty of behind the scenes experience, training Olroks to compete in his stead like a gladiator slave owner, one of which was the finalist Arpratu the Mapkeeper, his star prodigy who lost to Orthog of Lithlad before the grand final. Urlisak usually prefers to keep his hands relatively clean, which is more a figure of speech than anything for an Olrok, but in today's economy, with Morvid-19 running rampant, Urlisak is forced to compete to make ends meet. Will he make Ratak's ends meet? Stay tuned to find out. Olrok Manhunter is the first combatant of round 2 and not much is known about him. He's travelled all over Middle-earth, satisfying his lust for man flesh and gathering materials for his dark rituals. When interviewed, he simply stabbed me in the liver, called me a Tark and vanished into the night. It's unknown what brings him into the pits, but it's no doubt for something nefarious. He'll be facing Borgu the Survivor, and I don't need to tell his fans why he's back in the pits facing down another opponent. Borgu is dubbed the Survivor for good reason, being a long-time veteran rivaled in victories by the now deceased Orthog of Lithlad. What is most obvious about Borgu is the considerable damage he's sustained over the years. What was his face is now barely held together by makeshift iron bandages, and no doubt he's suffering considerable levels of insanity after numerous concussions. This is Middle-earth though, and damage only seems to have made him stronger and more enraged. The winner of the first round will face the winner of the second in the finals, and the winner of the finals will face Tuka the Pretender in the grand final. So what can I say about Tuka? He's the undisputed champion of Mordor since the regional finals, and nothing much has changed. He has an army of fans both with him at all times and watching him at home. He dons the tower's armor and relishes the sweet embrace of pain, making him extremely hard to kill. That and the fact that he's one of the most skilled defensive Orcs in Mordor. In the finals, he faced the seasoned Orthog of Lithlad, who was the most skilled offensive Uruk in Mordor, a battle of the unstoppable force and the immovable object. In the end, Tuka's unbreakable defense overcame the enraged Orthog, and Tuka has yet to find an adversary even close to his level since. Perhaps one of these four will change that. Let me know below who you're rooting for, but before we get into round 1, what would Mordor be without a little healthy competition? For your chance to win a game up to the value of $50 AUD, all you need to do is guess who's going to win the next show match. This week it's between Ogbur the Dangerous and Grom Hot Tongs. To enter, simply follow me on Instagram and Twitter and enter who you think is going to win in the comments. The fight will commence in the next pit fighting episode and the winner will be announced. For more information on the combatants, check out my Twitter for an insider look at their skills and abilities. So while Ratak and Urlisak are preparing to kill each other, let's take a look at what they bring to the fight. Ratak has no discernible physical weaknesses, which means he won't break when receiving any form of damage. He's also fire, beast, and curse proof. His main strength though is his deceptively great strength. He's also a master of coating his weapons with the poisons he makes himself. Don't ask us how, but here's a hint. It's poop. Being a trickster, he has access to smoke bombs to reposition when things go bad. Being a hunter class, he has spears that are good at both range and up close. And being part of the feral tribe, he has claws that can rip into his opponents for a self-heal. Unfortunately today he's facing an Olrok who's far too big to pounce on. If he's gonna win, he'll need to keep his distance and put out consistent damage. The Olrok or Urlisak has no discernible physical weaknesses either and is immune to fire, poison, cursed, and beast. Notably, this means Ratak's poop poison will have no effect on him. However, Graugs won't hear the call in Minas Morgul, so he's lacking that epic ability. He also has cursed weapons, which Ratak is immune. Ratak being both a hunter and immune to beast also means that the Olrok's Caragor pack will only be there for fodder. It's not looking good for the noble on paper, but can he pull out a win against the far more experienced and favoured Ratak Tasty? If he's going to win, he's going to need to get up close and stop Ratak from capitalising on his great strength by using his own mass to throw the little Uruk around. So the combatants are ready, let's begin round 1 of Mordor's Pit Fighting Championships. The noble is first in the arena.
I fight for Sauron, and I will gladly dedicate your death to him.
And there's Ratak Tasty, who tastes his victory. Starts off by, well, throwing a poison spear. Ratak is sure-footed, so he won't get affected by that tremor, but those Caragors will knock him to his feet. Being a hunter, he won't take any damage from those Caragors, so he won't worry too much about them, but he has got his back turned to the giant noble. Noble's tremor doesn't do too much, so he goes for a regular swing, which does do a little bit of damage. He's down to half HP now, so he chooses to get close and personal, and if he keeps these throws up, maybe Ratak will be in a bit of trouble, but he is low on HP, takes another hit before getting another throw off on Ratak. Ratak needs to get some distance, needs to start throwing those spears, and there's another one. We can see the great strength coming in handy there. Another stab and another one. Finally, Urlisak gets another solid hit in before getting another throw. This is very close so far. Urlisak needs to get a bit closer. Tasty gets another hit. All he needs is one more, and this could bring the giant Olrok down. But he does get another throw in against the wall. This is not where Ratak wants to be, but there is the melee hit. Ratak Tasty taking down Urlisak the Noble in round 1. So with that victory, Ratak Tasty is one step closer to Tuka and tasting that sweet vengeance. Urlisak put up a good fight, but in the end, Ratak just had too many tools to nibble the big guy down and negate his strengths. Not every fight can be balanced from the start, and that's just the way of the pits. At least now Urlisak won't need to claim Mordor welfare payments. So don't go anywhere, round 2 will be starting right after this short commercial break. Welcome back to Mordor's Pit Fighting Championships. Round 2 is about to begin, so let's start by sizing up the competition. On the left we have Olrok Manhunter. He has a weakness to range damage, but won't need to worry about that with Borgu, as he likes to get in close and see the red of his enemy's eyes as he pops them out. Olrok is also poison, frost, and beast proof. He isn't fireproof though, and considering he's a fire master with fire weapons, could there be a problem of self-roasting? He has a gang of warriors he has no problem burning alive, and if his enemy becomes dazed, that enrages Olrok. He doesn't like weakness of any kind. Being a tracker, he can also set down traps that will momentarily stun his opponents. If Olrok wants to win, he'll need to utilize his powerful fire damage to cook Borgu alive instead of going all out offense. Be patient and defensive and wait to strike. Borgu has a few weaknesses. First, he can't handle being enraged for too long as it exhausts him. To his credit, his rage lasts longer than the average Uruk, and he's enraged by almost everything. Olrok, the Master of Fire, would be happy to see that Borgu is also heavily damaged by fire. He's arrow, poison, and curse proof. As a berserker, he gets the Fusro ability and the Rampage. Being a defender, he also has access to that shield. If Borgu is going to win, he should aim to take out Olrok before he can apply his powerful fire. Go completely on the offense or sit back and get off enough Fusro to terrify his enemy. So the combatants are ready to spill blood. Let's get into round 2 of Mordor's Pit Fighting Championships. Borgu steps up to the plate. I wouldn't want to be the Manhunter right now.
It's no fun when it's easy. Are there any hard ones out there?
I'm sure Olrok makes many hard ones, so Borgu goes in, immediately shield slams, goes for the second. Will the third time be the charm? And no, it misses. Olrok posturing a little bit there, gets off an execution, does quite a bit of damage, but doesn't burn Borgu. Borgu goes for the Fusro that momentarily stuns Olrok. goes for the tremor that does knock Olrok to the ground. He puts down the trap. Will this get Borgu? Borgu doesn't seem to be falling for it, but does run and jump over the trap and beats down Olrok right on top of the corpse of one of his fallen comrades. Goes for a slash, does burn Borgu, but doesn't panic him. Borgu goes for the throw, sets him down. Olrok is in a lot of trouble. Another shield slam comes down. Will this be the fifth and final shield slam? Olrok Manhunter taken down by Borgu the Survivor in round 2. With that victory, Borgu the Survivor will be facing Ratak Tasty in the finals. Olrok may have had the experience in fighting filthy Tarks, but in the pits, he was unprepared for the unrelenting, reckless disregard of one's own life in the furiosity of Borgu. Even though he had the advantage of fire, he struggled to let it do its work. If he was more defensive and applied more stacks, perhaps Borgu would have panicked and that would have won the match for Olrok. Alas, the pits are a dangerous and unpredictable place, and Borgu is now one step closer to facing Tuka in the grand final. Will he take the championship, or will he be going home with another scar? If his luck hasn't run out, that is. He'll be going home inside an Uruk's stomach if Ratak has anything to say about it. The finals are up next. Ratak Tasty versus Borgu the Survivor. While Borgu welds more iron bandages to his body, let's jump into a pre-game analysis. Ratak Tasty has great strength and poison weapons, so if the match drags on, Ratak will have the advantage. However, Borgu is all about finishing it early, as even the slightest breeze will enrage him, and there's very little Ratak can do to escape the fury of a berserker unless he utilizes his smoke bomb and guile. Range will be Ratak's friend and Fury will be Borgu's. It's anyone's match. So the combatants are ready, let's begin the finals of Mordor's Regional Pit Fighting Championships. Here he is again, the legend stepping up to the plate, Borgu the Survivor. He'll be facing down Ratak Tasty.
Taste it! Taste it! It's so fantastically tasty!
Will he be tasting victory again? Borgu immediately in there with an execution, dealing over half damage to Ratak Tasty. Borgu follows it up with a shield slam and does a lot of damage to Ratak. He is in a lot of trouble. You need to stay at range, Ratak. What are you doing going in? Retaliatory swing, Ratak throwing another spear. Doesn't do much to Borgu. Borgu tackles him to the ground. Good old-fashioned beatdown, and that is it. Borgu turns Ratak into paste in the finals. In one of the most one-sided matches we've ever seen, Ratak, a fan favorite, is taken down by Borgu the Survivor in a good old-fashioned fist-related beatdown. We said Borgu needs to win early, and win early he did. Ratak, not expecting that level of aggression from a defender used to fighting people like Tuka, was simply overwhelmed and unable to apply his great strength and poison. I guess he'll be tasting the dirt, while Borgu will be tasting Tuka the Pretender, the current reigning champion. This will no doubt be a fight to remember. So don't go anywhere, we'll be right back with the analysis right after this short commercial break. Welcome back to Mordor's Pit Fighting Championships. The reigning champ, Tuka the Pretender, will be facing off against Borgu the Survivor in a no-rules fight to the death. Not that anyone needs to be reminded of Tuka's savagery, but let's take a look at what he brings to the table anyway. First, the only exploitable weakness he has is against beasts, but we've seen him easily dispatch them in the past. He's immune to fire, frost, and curse, but Borgu is pure physical, so that won't come into play. He isn't immune to poison, but it does enrage him. He has thick skin, so it's very hard to kill him. He comes with a group of fans that dress exactly like him. He has flame weapons, fire bombs, and the flaming outlaw bolus. He has a lot of tools to take you down. If Tuka wants to win, he just needs to be Tuka. Unfortunately for Borgu, he hasn't become any less flammable. This will give Tuka the advantage. However, in Borgu's favor is the fact that he'll be able to enrage, whereas Tuka won't, as there won't be any poison in this match. However, if last year's finals were anything to go by, becoming enraged around Tuka only makes it easier for him to take you down. Things are not looking good for Borgu, but if the pits have taught me anything, it's don't bet on the sure thing. If Borgu is going to win, he needs to avoid the fire while defending against Tuka's fans and the onslaught. He needs to get in quick and execute like he did with Ratak. Perhaps then he can break through Tuka's defenses. The combatants are ready. Will Tuka keep his championship belt, or will Borgu add it to his growing pile of scrap metal? Now begins the grand final of Mordor's Pit Fighting Championships. With the championship belt in his grasp, Borgu eagerly steps up onto the plate. the champion Tuka not phased at all.
Just getting warmed up here.
Here we go, the grand final has officially begun. A firebomb coming out from one of the fans immediately panics Borgu. Borgu under the relentless onslaught of Tuka's fans and the fire. If Borgu wants to win, he needs to compose himself and he needs to attack the right Tuka. That's one of his fans. A fan just gets up like nothing happened. The beatdown not going down the same way as it did with Ratak. If he doesn't face the right Tuka, he's gonna keep getting stabbed in the back and thrown around like he's nothing. Tuka is a seasoned veteran. Borgu needs to compose himself, needs to stop panicking about this fire. Yeah, it's just a little bit of fire, buddy. You should be fine. Fusrodar misses the mark. Shield slam gets blocked. Tuka looks composed as ever. His absence from the pits hasn't dulled his senses at all. Borgu is at half HP, he's still getting hit by these fans and he's not doing any damage to Tuka. Tuka seems fairly composed, just waiting for the right opportunity to go in and deal that damage. Still waiting, shields up high. Puts his shield down, does a triple strike, does a lot of damage to Borgu. Borgu just not able to show the same level of aggression as he has in the past, not able to defend. Finally dazed, Borgu is in a lot of trouble. Tackled to the ground by Tuka, beaten down, bomb in the mouth. Boom! And we won't be seeing that face again. Borgu the survivor taken down by the champion Tuka the Pretender. What a fantastic match. Tuka one-upping Borgu with a kill similar but more explosive than his beatdown against Ratak. This Uruk is unstoppable, absolutely dominating Borgu by fiery panic through his enrage and making such a powerful veteran look like baby vomit being run over by a truck filled with sledgehammers. An explosive finish worthy of the Pit Fighting Hall of Fame. As we wrap up today's matches, I'd like to remind you to follow our socials and make sure your predictions for the next show match between Ogba the Dangerous and Grom Hot Tongs are in. Did today's matches turn out like you expected? Let me know below. Thanks for joining us and I'll see you all soon for another Mordor Pit Fighting Championship, as soon as we find some more cameramen.